That is Mali Sola with the song Moment here on Early Edition with Ete, 5:31 PI, Pacific People Together. And as we've been saying all morning, we are going to have with us here in the studio, in fact, we now do have with us in the studio none other than Vela Manusaute, first Niuean to graduate from New Zealand Drama School, Toi Whakaari, won 1997 Chapman Trip Award here in Wellington for comedy as part of the Brownies comedy duo. He helped found the theatre group Kila Kokonut Krew in 2002. And their biggest hit to date was The Factory, based on his father's move to New Zealand. So, whakalofalahi atu Vela, and thank you so much for taking the time away from directing Victor Rogers' latest theatre production, Umalava. Thank you for making the time to pop in to have a chat with us in the studio this morning.
Yeah, good morning. Malo se fua tarofa, warm Pacific greeting, whakalofalahi atu, and good to be here also.
Oh.
Good to to catch up with you and love your radio voice and whakalofalahi atu ina. Yeah, wonderful to be here. I was just trying to find time to come into the studio.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go back to the beginning. Were you born in New Zealand? Were you born in Niuean?
I was born in Niuean, Mutalau. Then we came here. My family came here in 1979. So my father came first, and then we followed him, followed the milk and honey dream, and lived in Ponsonby. And it's been 40 years since we came here. And just recently, my mom wanted to celebrate us here. She called us and said we should celebrate our 40th year. New Zealand's like, but why? We should be going back home.
Yeah. Well, you certainly do have a lot to celebrate. Your achievements in theatre. You were one of the early pioneers as far as the Niueans getting on stage is concerned. When did you discover that you had this talent and you had this passion to go on stage and perform?
I guess I've always been like the clown of the circle. I'm always been the smallest in my circle, group of friends at school. And when you're the smallest, you better have good lunch or you better be funny. You know what I mean? So I was funny, and everybody kind of leave me alone. And I had such an energy that can't be kind of controlled. I was always making noises in class, and my teacher suggested that I should take a drama, but I don't know what drama was, So they put me in a class. This is in Form 2 Intermediate, which is a mime class. When you mime, because my English was terrible, and when he put you in a mime class, it's like I was happy to be kind of accepted with all these other bilinguals in it. So I was like, wow, this is really cool. People actually clapping for me and not like forcing me to be funny or anything else. So from there, I just went to high school, always being in choruses, always tried to do plays and all that, and joined up with Pacific Theatre, which that's where I met you, Nelson, Ete, and tried for drama school, but it was not an easy road. I tried 4 times. It was, it's like back then it was quite embarrassing to say I tried 4 times, but now it's like, yeah, I tried 4 times. I could have tried 5 or 6 more times, I just wanted to have that form of training. I just needed, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah.
What is it about being on stage and having people look at you, having people, pay attention that puts you in that space? Does it get the adrenaline running?
It's like definitely. It's like it's like if I do it outside of theatre, I'll be considered crazy. Like, hey, stop that. You've been silly, you've been stupid. Eh? Don't do that. But somehow when you do it in front of a theatre audience, they kind of, you can go as ralea as you can, as silly, as stupid as you can.
Yeah.
It's only when you come off stage and goes, what? What's that? That was okay. But I think for me, it was like, it's more of don't know, I'm looking for, which I didn't get as a child, was something like, you're good enough or you're worthy enough. You know, just stand in front of the audience, just getting that clap, applause. It's not about the applause, but it's about, you know,
being seen,
being seen,
being heard,
being heard,
being acknowledged,
and in control.
and
In control.
In control. So you went to Toi Whakaari after Pacific Theatre, Justine and Paul and her group. You met up with some people, a whole lot of other actors at Pacific Theatre and drama school. So when did the Brownies come about after drama school, and how did the Brownies come about?
The Brownies came across because it was a Pacific Theatre workshop with Siaki, which is he's one of the masters of Faleiko, big kilo in there. They came over from Samoa and they wanted to do a workshop on Faleiko, and that's how I kind of met Canada. And Canada said, he was there. Canada was so funny, as we know, in many ways. You know, like he has a natural.
He's a car salesman.
Oh,
he can sell sand to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, right.
Hey,
Ice back to the Eskimos. Ken was the man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ken was the man. It was like he was the one who said, "Hey, I think you're funny. We should do something like," because I knew he was a stand-up comic, and he's doing things in class. And he said we should get together and do something and put ourselves in the festival. I consider myself a real actor. I'm not going to do comedy because I just came out of Toi Whakaari.
I'm Shakespeare.
I am Shakespeare. I warm up before we go on stage. I need the script. I need to read before all that kind of stuff, We just disappeared as the Brownies went along. And we just did our first show, which is Fob first fresh off the boat. I think it was fresh off the boat or first off the boat, something along those lines. And it went really well, and we just kind of stuck to each other and had so much fun with Ken. But like it was a hard road. It was like
that was amazing. The two of you on stage, and I've got to confess, and I've never said this to you before, but when I came and saw you guys perform here in Wellington, I just sat there in awe, and I thought, man, you can actually, because it was a series of skits. Yes. It didn't have to have a storyline, and
because we're so used to storyline.
Yeah, but there was no storyline, and that's where the inspiration for the Laughing Samoans came from. So I take my hat off to you, and I do have to give credit where credit is due. Oh. And sitting in a theatre and watching all those people just laughing at our Samoan stories, made so years later, when Tafinga asked to come and open, I thought, no, well, the Brownies did it, and it doesn't have to be a story from the beginning to the end. So you notice with the Laughing Samoans, they're just a series of skits, and that was inspired by the Brownies.
No, my lord, Fefe, Ete. But also, it's been, you guys took it another level, took the international festival level, and it taught us something that is, we don't have to conform or make violent stories. We can tell our own stories, and you and Finger are the perfect combination. One straight guy with good big muscles, and you got another guy who's Finger. It was magic, and that's something that me and Canada keep trying to work on it, because it was hard too. It was really hard because both of us wanted to be funny on stage. We wanted to be funny. He wants to laugh. I want to laugh too. But at the end, we got to know to make it work. Somebody has to be the setup person for the another person to take all the jokes, and that's where you guys prove that. And I don't think there's no, you know what I mean. People, I see a lot of comedians now, like lots of social media comedians. It's like, bro, put yourself on stage. The real test is on stage, as you know. I have died so many times on stage. I've been booed off. I've been you know what I mean? It's not a good feeling.
And I totally agree with you in terms of the success of the Laughing Samoans, because one of the things that I found I had to do was that I had to accept that there was only one funny person in a duo. Every now and then, I'd try a line that we thought, well, it's a funny line, let me try it. And people look at us like, you're not supposed to be funny, you're the straight guy, And so I let my ego go, and I said, no, I will just be the guy that throws up the ball and I'm quite happy for Finger to hit that ball out of the park. Yeah, very, very, very interesting. It is 13 minutes past 10. I am having a wonderful conversation with Vela Manusaute about Pacific comedy and about the work that he's done. We're going to take a song break, and then we will be back to continue our discussion here on Early Edition with Ete, 5:31 PI, Pacific People Together. I have the pleasure of having a very, very, very good friend of mine in the studio, and we've just been talking about, if you want to know the history of Pacific theatre in New Zealand, in the world, in fact, Vela Manusaute is one of those crucial and key players in the development of theatre, and it's just interesting how things have worked out. You know, there's so many people. There is Toi Whakaari, who I teamed up with, but now I understand he could have teamed up with you, Vela. Could you tell us that story?
It won't be allowed because I was teamed up with Ken.
Yes, yes.
Remember, and I remember too that, and you know, correct me if I'm wrong, Ete, you saw our show here in Wellington. You tried to team up with us too, because you can offer a lot into it. That's the third brownie. That's the third brownie.
That's right. We did talk about that.
You know,
but I was working at Creative New Zealand at the time. And then when you guys decided to continue, I sort of went to Oscar and David and I said, look, Vela and Canada are doing that. We got to get something together.
Right.
So we were going to put something together. But because I was still working at the Arts Council, they went on and did the Naked Samoans.
Yes, that's right.
So there's all these intertwined things. But tell me the story about Toi Whakaari. When you finished up with Canada, Toi Whakaari was looking to get into the industry. You see, when Toi Whakaari came and saw me, that's when he made his big break.
Right.
I sort of gave him the opportunity, but he was actually looking for people before he came and saw me. He, in fact, came and spoke with you.
Correct. I saw Whakaari in West Auckland. The Brownies were headlining a community function there, and Whakaari was the MC. And when I saw Whakaari on stage, he did his piano one and his hip hop dancing, and I thought, my gosh, this guy is great. He's fantastic. The energy is big size, all that. So when I came down to Wellington, I caught up with Whakaari, and Whakaari wanted to get into the comedy scene. And I said, hey bro, you're gifted, obviously. I can't. I'm in Auckland. It's going to be hard for us to kind of don't have any money to bring you up and start, because I was starting a Kila Kokonut Krew then. And then when I saw you guys at the town hall with your show, yourself, you were the main act, Toi Whakaari, and then James Nogisi, laughing at Samoans.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Laughing with Samoans.
And then, or laughing with Samoans, sorry. And I thought, oh, that's great for Whakaari. And of course, the rest is history. He came to his own. But, you know, like, things happen for a reason, I believe so anyway, you know.
Absolutely. So, you know, for a minute there, had you been living in Wellington or Whakaari had been living in Auckland, you know, things could have worked out totally different. It could have been something between you and Toi Whakaari. But as you say, from Laughing with Samoans, then I said to Toi Whakaari, man, this is so good. Let's do something together. And you know, James was focused on his own career anyway. And that's how the Laughing with Samoans was born. But we've always sort of worked in parallel. You know, the Naked Samoans have been doing their own thing.
But, you know, I think, and this is give credit to the Brownies. No one else can do it apart from myself. Brownies came out first, and then the Naked Samoans came, saw the Brownie shows in town, and then the Naked Samoans came out, and then Laughing Samoans, you know, because at the end of the day, we were trying to find things to be in. There was no theatre shows, there is no TV shows or films for ourselves. We were not taught to make our own work. And when we discovered our own work and inspire a generation, that's when we know we are doing something good. It's only now that my kids, they watch a lot of Laughing Samoans, and my kids come home and goes, Dad, do you know these guys? I said, who? He goes, he plays the video of Laughing Samoans. He saw it at Telstra. Yeah. I said, I do know them. They're really good friends of mine. He goes, oh, come on, Dad. Everybody says about them. And I said, no. And I said to my kids, do you know my history? They go, well, what do you do? What do you do? I said, we were the Brownies. He goes, were you funny?
No,
It's like,
you are absolutely right, and that's why in my introduction for the second part of this show, I acknowledged that the Brownies were the ones who put the stake in the ground for Pacific Theatre, and as for me, because you're right,
in comedy also, in
yeah,
comedy.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
Pacific Theatre has been going since Nathaniel Lee's, Lani Tupu, goes way back. But in terms of whareiku and kind of comedy,
Yeah.
where there's no narrative, we're going to have a good time,
Yeah.
Brownies were that. Inspired.
Yeah.
And everybody goes, wow, you can actually make a living by doing something that we're doing at home. And, getting a crowd to come in. Because remember, before it was, the play has to be good before an audience can throw. Laughing Samoans prove it, that you can take it.
I guess the difference between the Brownies and the Laughing Samoans is that when we came along, we were much more aware of the fact that we needed to be mindful of the sensitivities of our people. So the swearing went out, and because we knew that our parents would come and our children would come. What you did was that you just blew the door open.
Yes.
You blew the door open, and people were like, "Wow!" We came along. We thought, no, if our people are inside, we can't blow the door open. We have to knock.
Well, and also because both of you guys come from, both your parents are Fefe house,
Absolutely.
We're both, our parents loved to, my dad, we were just, like you're right, we no scare. Our style was no scare, no Fefe. You know what I mean? We're going to go out there and go. But which is, it was great, but, it's also good that you guys took it on and made it accessible for a larger audience and make it like, hey, it's okay to be fleshy. It's okay to be cool, laugh at it. You know what I mean? Because the next generation going to look at it and go, wow, I'm inspired by these guys. They took it to this level. The naked Samoan had their own TV shows on mainstream. You guys had your own TV on mainstream. You guys took it international. You know what I mean? It's all for the benefit of our next generation.
Absolutely.
If they decide to have the courage to take it on. Because we know it. Comedy, apparently someone says dying is easy, comedy is hard.
yeah. Apparently, appearing on stage is only a second scariest thing that people do to die. They are almost as scared of going on stage as they are of dying. Okay, let's leave aside the comedy for now. Let's look at what you're doing at the moment because we're quickly running out of time. Let's have a talk about Umalava, Victor Rogers' latest play that you are directing. Stellar cast, Goreti, Chadwick, Faumui, and of course Annapella, Polatai Vau, an amazing cast, and it sounds like an amazing show going to be opening this Friday.
Definitely from Toi Ete, we're gonna blow the stage up again with the madness of Victor Rogers. I just get to a stage where, I'm older now in terms of what I want to do. I've done so many things that, this is for me. It's fantastic. We're talking about Victor Roger and to the also who gives us an opportunity to be able to do these type of plays, and it's the craziest, the madness. It's three people: a politician, a academic, and a minister, all ends up in one place for eternity. And because if you have seen Club Paradiso and other Victor Roger play, that's what it is. It's gonna be it's crazy. You don't see this type of thing. I don't want to encourage our Pacific audience who's going to come. It's not a good time, but it is a good time in many ways. You know what I mean? You're gonna come in and you're gonna sneak out and you're gonna run off.
Let's just say it's not a Laughing Samoan show.
It's not a Laughing Samoan show. It's not a Bani show. But you are gonna see Annapella Plateva and Lady Chadwick at their best.
Wonderful.
Best.
And where is it, and how can people get tickets for it, and when does it open?
It opens up down at Circa Theatre. I don't have the number, but at Circa here in Wellington, we open up Saturday until December, I think 8th of December.
Well, Vela Manusaute, my brother, it's been absolutely awesome having you in the studio. I just love this conversation. It could go on for hours, as people are probably gathering.
We don't want to milk the joke, do we?
They probably think you have been going on for hours. But thank you for the pioneering work that you've done. And thank you for your heart, for our community, and long may you live and continue to blow those doors apart.
Whakaari Ete, thank you so much for catching up. And I do want to acknowledge you too for your wonderful work through the years, you know, and creative work, and also, you know, your courage to speak your story, tell your story, because all stories heal. So, you know what I mean? We don't live for the past, we live for the future. It makes us better people who we are. And thank you for our Pacific people through the years who've been supporting us, you know, our journey and everything else. And whakawelai mahaki, great to see you, my cousin Ina, and everybody else. It's love, courage, and more love, and more alofa for everybody. So, who's going to shout me lunch? Whakatai me whakawelai mahaki.
That is Vela Manusaute here on Early Edition with Ete 531 PI, Pacific People Together.